Yes, you heard it. The Mavic 3 is here, and I am not buying it. Um, well, okay, so to be honest, I had no intention on buying the Mavic 3. I watched a lot of videos and I liked what I saw from the camera. So I decided to buy it, give it a spin, and see if it lived up to the hype. So this is my review. Now, I give DJI credit. They did go in a different direction. They made some slight changes with this drone. They didn't just recycle what they did with the Mavic 2. So this video is going to be my initial reaction. I'm going to cover a couple things that I like about this drone, and I'm also going to touch on a few things that I don't like. Now, one thing, of course, the Mavic 2 Pro's camera had a much wider range of motion. The only downside is that the camera, when the gimbal guard wasn't on, was more susceptible to damage. I noticed that the Mavic 3's camera doesn't have that same wide motion from side to side, and also when you turn the drone off, the camera locks in place, which is a good feature, but I'm not a big fan of it. Another thing that I noticed was there were scuff marks from the legs, the way they fold in on the sides of the camera. Now, for a $2,000 drone, this is really unacceptable. As you can see here with the marks on the legs, this was a common problem with the Mavic 2, is that the legs slightly would rub up against the drone body when you folded it in. I was kind of surprised at this, not only the fact that it rubbed up against the drone, but it left a mark on the leg. Now, the drone sensors have been upgraded, as you can see by the front sensors. They're more fish-eyed look, so they have a wider field of view. And you have two cameras up front now, with the Micro Four Third being the main camera and the secondary camera being the zoom camera. Now, regarding the gimbal protector, they have gone in a completely different direction. Now they have this mask on the drone to protect the camera, and it actually latches into place from the top. It kind of looks like... Now, I will say the good thing with this one, that it holds everything in place. It holds the bottom propellers and the top propellers, so it's more easily transportable. Now, here's a comparison between the Mavic 2 Pro. And as you can see, the legs are substantially thinner. From what I understand, this was done to reduce some of the noise, the vibration, but it just kind of feels a little flimsier. Now, I do like what they did with the motors. As you can see, the motors are smaller than the Mavic 2 Pros, but I like that they went with a black color. So, because that was one of the peeves I had with with all the drones really from DJI, is that the silver drone motors, so you have to always clean them because they get dirty and smudged and whatnot. So, I do like this feature. On the original Mavic 2 Pro, the top sensors were infrared. Now, with this version, they've actually switched to the camera sensors. They did not use the fisheye sensors all over the drone. I'm not sure why, but a lot of the sensors on the drone are of this type. Now, I like the fact that they went with a slightly different color scheme and gave it that two-tone look. And another thing that I noticed was on the rear, when the strap pulls around and latches, it leaves a slight mark there. Maybe I'm just being superficial, but I mean, when you pay this much for a drone, you kind of expect it to be a little more, I don't know, tougher maybe? Now, here's another shot of the front of the drone with the fish-eyed sensors. If you look at the Mavic 2 Pro drone, all the sensors on it, if they weren't infrared, they were the camera sensors. So at least it was supposed to give it more protection, to be more like the Skydio drones, which have the sensors that pretty much avoid everything. Bottom of the drone combines the fisheye sensors, infrared sensors, and the auxiliary light. On to the actual feel of the drone. When you pick it up, the propellers kind of dig into the body a little bit. It is slightly lighter than the Mavic 2 Pro, but my only concern is that it doesn't feel as solid. It feels kind of fragile. In comparison, the Mavic 2 Pro feels really well built. It's really solid. So I just don't know about the durability of this one. Here's a comparison shot of the bottom of both drones. The one thing I really like that I'm glad DJI put into these drones is that the auxiliary light helps a lot, especially in low light. Here's a look at the drone unfolded. It has a very mean stance. It's a wider stance than previous Mavic models, so it looks completely different from the front. It kind of resembles the Klingon ship, the Bird of Prey, in my opinion. And the batteries have also been redesigned, which I like. The new batteries load in from the back, just like the Phantom line. The one issue with the previous batteries is that they would tend to swell and pop out of the drone, causing it to fall from the sky. Now, I like the new remote, but I wish that they had designed the remote to be the same color as the drone, for one, and two, had the LCD screen just like the original Mavic 2 Pro. All right, so that's a wrap of my initial impressions. I can't wait to get this thing in the air and see how it performs. The camera, from what I've seen, looks amazing, especially in low light conditions, so that'll be fun to see. I did purchase the camera fresh, so I guess I'm going to keep it. I'm looking forward to see what I can do with this one, but time will tell. We'll see. So anyway, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Catch you in the next video.